Hello.
Hi there, Ryan.
How are you?
Excellent. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. How's the market there? How's the weather? How is everything?
Weather here is nice and warm. It's probably going to be in the 80s over the weekend, so it's going to be great weather, and the market's still on fire here. So, we don't have the high price point that you're working on, which is amazing. But our starter range here is probably like in the 700 range. So that market's on fire with the super historic interest rates being still so low. It's just really driving the market and done wonders for our business here.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people last year decided that maybe they go buy a bigger house to be cooped up in next to their kids.
Yeah, we're noticing that a lot. People that were in the condos or been selling the condos and moving to the houses, and the people that are in the houses are now saying, hey, I need a bigger house so I can have my home office here, that I don't need to go back to work full time. So we're seeing a lot of transitioning from the office buildings to, well, maybe I'll just be in the office building 1 day or 2 days a week. So
yeah, and tell me if you're seeing the same thing. So I was just talking to someone else about this, where I almost kind of feel like, the real estate sales, buy side and sell side, that we've been doing from 2008 until 2020 were deals where people needed to move. They had a baby, needed an extra bedroom. They were moving for work. They needed an extra bed. School, all the life events, they'd move. And here and there, people would make money and want a cooler place or get a second home. But we haven't had this like rush of speculation or excitement, not a whole lot of deals where people really wanted real estate or wanted another house. As I wasn't in the business in the early 2000s, but the way I hear about it,
right.
COVID hits. And I think all of that pent up demand for real estate that went away in 2008 and really stayed away for 12 years came back.
Yeah.
And I feel like we are now doing deals for people who, for the first time in a long time, are moving because they want to, not just because they need to. And I think that's also that, and low interest rates is really, really fueling this market. I mean, it's nuts. Like, I'm talking to people where I'm like, you want to buy what? Where? Now? Do you need that? No, but you still want it? It's $1 million over what the guy paid like yesterday. Are you okay with that? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I don't know. It's nuts. But anyway, just my little real estate tangent there. Excited to be here, and let's get to it. Happy to answer any questions. Talk about whatever you want.
Well, I'll start with the intro here.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No worries. I'm Brad. I'm so excited to have Ryan here to join us about this building his brand. What's exciting about Ryan is that basically he started with working with college kids with ads on Craigslist until last month. Congratulations to you. You sold, from what I've heard, the highest price home in all of Florida at $140 million, second highest house sale in the whole United States. So you have definitely have an amazing journey. So we're excited just to hear about, how you built your brand to take your business to the next level. And of course, if anyone has any questions for me, I'm always here for you. You can give me a call, send me an email, and ask me about, my business. I've been in the business for over 42 years. And we've got a great company here, great buyer partners on my team, and great business associates. So if you have questions about that, we're here to answer for you. But this is all about Ryan. He's had such an amazing journey that I want to bring him out here to tell you how to build your business and your brand. Because Ryan, you've been phenomenal. I mean, just as I said, Craigslist ad to 6 college kids, cramming them into an apartment, to, I said, exciting kudos to you, to your $140 million sale last month, to your anonymous Russians. So take it away, Ryan.
Thank you for having me. Listen, I did not get into the real estate business so that I could do real estate. I got into the real estate business in 2008 so that I could pay my rent. I had to make the decision, right? I was in New York City. I had ran out of money. I graduated college in 2006. And so it was, bartend, get a wait tables, get a temp job, or what's the next thing you do? If you have a liberal arts degree and you can socialize, you get your real estate license, right? I think at the time it was 45 hours. Now it's 75 or 72, so it's longer now. I got the test, it got signed up really quickly, and I had a friend who just said, "Listen, it's early 2008. Real estate market's amazing. It's on fire. You can sell things over the internet. It's crazy. You got to get out of that terrible little studio apartment in Koreatown you're in. You need to get your own bathroom, and you get to make your own hours. Best thing about real estate, you have no boss. Make your own hours. Do whatever you want." And so it's like, okay, got my license. And the day I started, Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy. September 15th, 2008. That was day one. Fortunately for me, I had no money. So it's not like my life changed. I was already broke. So other people were just joining me. And I just thought that real estate was the hardest thing in the world. I just thought people lost their jobs all the time. I just thought things were difficult. So I had to learn how to sell in a very, very tough market. How to rent apartments in a very tough market, where someone was guaranteeing your lease and all of a sudden that person would be fired. Rates were low, yes, but access to credit was really tough. In 2008, 2009, 2010, it was really tough to get a loan. Only certain banks were doing it. And then you had these warehouse banks, portfolio lenders, First Republics of the world, start showing up, closing things. A lot of these mortgage brokers, the Quickens, the Rocket loans and all that. But I learned early on that the only person who was going to really bring in business was me. Like, I could take leads from elsewhere, but I'm the one who's going to have to build the business, and I'm the one who's going to have to use my own reputation to build a personal brand that people are going to say, okay, I want to buy and sell with him because he's the one who does what? He's the one who sells what? And I had to figure that out. And the big problem with me was, I think I'm smart. I'm not a genius, but I had very, very low self-confidence when I first came to the city. New York City is a big place. Lots of very successful, intimidating people here. There are 50,000 real estate agents operating daily. There's 80,000 real estate agents operating in general in this city. So the competition is extreme. And I was young, not from New York, and I didn't even have a suit. And so I was trying to figure it out, but I knew that I could be great. I knew that one day I could be great if I really, really put my mind to it, because I did love the process of making deals. I like the puzzle, finding a buyer to put that with a seller, puzzle piece connected. Let's move on to the next puzzle. And where most real estate agents have a really hard time with the rejection, or have a really hard time with figuring out, what do I do? I have no boss. No one's telling you what to do. What do you do at 8 a.m.? What do you do at 2 p.m.? Post ads? Go to the coffee shop? What do you do during your day? I moved to New York City in 2006 to be an actor. So I had two years of personal rejection to my face because of my face. I had personal rejection, because of my height, because of my hair, because I started going gray when I was 16. Exactly. Right. Now it's the rage. Now people are like, hey, who colors your hair? How do you get that perfect blend of titanium? I'm like, God did it to me a long time ago. Okay. You can call him. And I had to overcome the fear of my own shadow, because this is a business that's all about creating relationships. And the minute it clicked for me, where I realized, wait a minute, my career is to become the greatest salesperson in the world, but my job every day is to generate leads. And to generate those leads, I just have to meet other people, and I have to be organized and disciplined with how I get their information, collect it, and then market to them consistently. So when they think real estate, they think Ryan. I have to build a structure for that. And I really broke my day down into what I call finder, keeper, doer. a lot of the stuff I talk about in our sales course, in the Sell Like Serha sales course, which is all about how to sell, but how to build a sales career, and our mentorship program and all that. But Finder, Keeper, Doer is how I structure my day, so that I'm always focusing on finding new business. I'm focusing on keeping the business I have and focusing on the money. And I'm focusing on doing all the work that I just set up for myself in the first half of the day. And even though I had the discipline and I had the organization, I still had to figure out, who was I in a marketplace of 50,000 real estate agents? Am I the guy that just sticks out like a sore thumb? Well, that's probably not going to do me so well, because you want to appear as confident. And what I saw, and I really studied the best brokers and the best bankers and the best attorneys, the most successful ones. And I saw that they were able to walk into a room with the confidence of someone who's been doing it for 100 years. And they still had excitement and they had amazing energy. And I wanted that, and I didn't have it. I didn't have it. And I called that big money energy, big magnetic energy. And so Big Money Energy, which is my second book, is all about how I figured out how to switch my mindset so that I could attract success, so I could become magnetic to success, so that I could start becoming the absolute best version of myself and lead the biggest lifestyle possible. And there was a process to that. It didn't happen overnight. But that personal brand starts right here. So it's right here and starts with that core conviction you have of yourself. Okay? And it's a humble conviction. I believe, and when I was auditioning for $1 Million Listing New York in 2010, I said this to the casting directors: I believe that I'm the best. Do I know the most people? No. Am I the most networked? No. Have I sold the most in my entire career? No. But am I the best salesperson in the room? Yeah. I believe it. I don't have to smile. I know it in my core. And so that core conviction I have, it turns into what's on my face. It turns into my body language, turns into my voice, it turns into my eye contact. And that core conviction turns into the perception that I give out of myself to the world. How I carry myself is how people see me carrying myself. That perception then turns into reputation. And that reputation that people have of you as the one who sells luxury property and does it really well, and he just knows everything, because you've got that confidence, that perception is your personal brand. Core conviction turns into perception, turns into reputation, turns into personal brand. Your brand isn't your logo. It's not your name, right? That might be how people remember you. And it's important to be seen, heard, and remembered. Okay, remember those three things. You want to make sure everything you do is seen, heard, and remembered. But that brand is what you're known for, which is really your success, which is your hard work, which is a lot of the things that you can control slowly but surely over time. And I just started putting that out into the atmosphere, right? Into the ether, creating that energy. And I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have about it, or about my career, or anything that you think might help you.
Sure, we can reach out to people and ask them if they would like to ask you any questions. We'll open it up here for everyone. So tell me, while we're waiting for people to come in, about your latest newsworthy transaction in Florida. It's exciting that you got your business now working in Florida too, with that that brand new spec home that was built for, I don't remember, 30,000 something square feet or something like that.
Yeah, 22,000. Yeah, listen, I mean, it's a good conversation to have. I've been talking to agents a lot lately who, have either had to pivot their business in 2020 due to COVID, or they're in such a hot market, they have nothing to sell. And so what do you do? If your average days on market is 5, if you're in such a low inventory marketplace, what do you do? And so for me, last year, I spent 12 years building up a brand as the greatest listing agent in New York City. I wanted the most listings, the most inventory, because the more inventory I have, the more income I can control, right? And then COVID hit. Every listing became impossible. Every seller wanted to go off market, and every deal died. And then 1 million people moved out of New York City,
Wow.
conservatively. Okay, I think it's something like 2 million. It's a lot, and so I had to pivot. I don't do deals in Florida. Like, I'm a New York City broker. I could do $1 billion in sales a year in a 10-block radius. I don't need to go to other states. That's the benefit of being in New York. You know the market here. You have brokers who do hundreds of millions in one building. You don't have to go anywhere else. But then people stopped coming to New York. So what do? So I had to pivot overnight. My entire business, my whole career. Not only did I leave my last brokerage firm, start my own company in New York in the middle of a pandemic, I also had to completely switch around how I thought about doing business. Everything went to video. Everything became comfortable virtually. And I started taking the wealthy clients that I had been trying to get in with in New York and started having conversations with them about low tax markets, right? What's my hook? And so I started talking to them about Florida, Texas, Louisiana, North Dakota, Wyoming. If you're going to do a transaction, I want you to do it with me. And if I got to work with a referral partner, let's do it. And a bunch of people in New York decided that they wanted to go to Florida. So I decided to maximize on that as best I possibly could. So what we did was just started talking to clients, started reaching out to their outer circle. And one of those clients wanted to rent something in the city. And we talked to him about thinking about Florida instead. Went to Florida, wanted to see things for sale. Honestly, he just said, show me the best things over $20 million. And so I did. And the best thing ended up being the most expensive house in the history of Florida at 140 million. And we sold it in one day for 132. While I had a book called Big Money Energy taped to my hand, by the way, because that was during the period prior to, if anyone here follows me on social, prior to my book coming out, I told everyone I was going to tape the book to my hand for 30 days leading up to the book release to see if that would help me get it on the bestseller list. So I was true to my word, and we sold that deal. And we've sold a lot of big things since then. On the buy side, it's been totally wild.
Amazing. It's fantastic. Got a couple questions over here. They said, what do you think about Zillow and Open Door?
Yeah, so listen, there's no stopping technological advances, especially in the real estate space, right? It's the most popular thing right now. Prop tech is all the rage. You've got all these SPACs that are coming out. They're investing in prop tech. It doesn't even matter what the companies are, it seems. It's just crazy. I think that until a house sells itself to another house, there's always going to be need for real estate salespeople. So I would not be worried about the Zillows, the Open Doors. I would use them as best you possibly can and use them against themselves, okay? Open Door still needs real estate agents to make money, right? They're discount brokerage on one side of the transaction. Most clients don't know that. And so you have to educate clients on how those firms work, especially with all the iBuyers, et cetera. And those things aren't going to last forever. It is financially impossible, okay? But I believe that if you're a great salesperson, you have the relationships, the real estate brokerage community will stick together. So band together and really pull your clients to houses that are listed with other agents that you know and you like, okay? And slowly but surely, the Open Doors and the Redfins and all these companies are going to get the hint. And make sure your clients are well aware that you can get them more money than anybody else because you have the relationships. No website has a relationship, right? Just doesn't exist. And so I would just sell around those platforms as best you possibly can.
Perfect. And a couple other questions here. What would you tell a brand new agent what they should be doing when they're getting started in the business? And then the same question for a seasoned agent? What, both of those agents, what would you recommend for them to do from today going forward?
I would tell, well, first of all, for the new agent, okay, you need to look at the first 3 years in this business as graduate school. If you make money, you're lucky. Great. You should. I don't want you to starve. But you should be learning as much as physically possible. Okay. That is your goal. Learn. And soak up as much as you can. Be a part of all the conversations. Listen and meet people all day long. Study the markets, read, memorize information. You should be a bookworm. Understand everything, because you're never going to get this new time in the business ever again. Before you know it, you're going to be too busy to focus on learning, and it's going to be a pain in the butt to do it. So soak it up now. Join a good team. Okay. Learn from the team leader and from the other agents. Be a part of their little community and ride their successful coattails as hard and fast as you possibly can until you have your own book of business. Why not? Right? To the one who's the most successful, I'd say sometimes it's important, if you're in a rut or you're trying to figure out how to do more, to go back to basics. Like, when was the last time you focused on your skills? When was the last time you thought about how you close? When was the last time you took a training course? When was the last time you picked up the phone and cold called? Maybe you haven't because you've been so busy, because you've been doing this for a long time, but put yourself in the shoes of someone who just started, whose business ramps up real fast because they have no other choice but to create business. Why can't you manufacture that for yourself? And if you've been in the business for a long time, you know way more people. It's going to be so much easier. I would say spend an hour a day, if you can. Call, text, email, send letters, direct messages to 15 people a day. Just touch base, see how they're doing. Remind them that you do real estate outside of a newsletter and your mailers and all that stuff. Personal outreach, which no one does anymore. Try it. Reach out to 5 attorneys, 5 bankers, 5 landscapers. Reach out to 15 different people that you haven't talked to in a while. Agents, reach out to agents. Like, hey, just saw you close that deal. Awesome. When was the last time you congratulated another real estate agent in your market on a deal they did that you had nothing to do with? Do that a little bit every day. Those agents will pay you back because no agent does that. Build that goodwill. That goodwill is worth something. Like, that has value. When you're selling your business, when banks are analyzing businesses, goodwill is a business line item that is given a value. It's a real thing. Build that up in your own industry, and it'll go a long way. The next time that agent has a line of cars outside there listing and they see you and they say, I'm going to get you in, right? And that's what you want.
Awesome. Fantastic. One thing in your book, the Big Money Energy, I was loving, because I haven't been doing as much as I should. You talked about going out there and doing your social work, putting your calendar for at least 2 times a month and putting yourself out there. So tell us how you embrace that and how you're implementing that into your business.
Yeah, we give back as much as we possibly can. We're doing a spring cleanup here, coming up here shortly. We're going to try to engage all of our course members in the Salt Lake Serha course. We do that. We work a lot with kids. We work a lot kind of in the local community and the neighborhoods that we're in. And we try to engage our clients as much as we can. Obviously, it was easier pre-COVID, right? But there's a lot of different things that you can do to engage with your community, to be known as somebody that understands that sometimes you're playing with the house's money. Like, you're only selling a house for $800,000 because your town allowed that house to be worth $800,000. That house in another market is worth $220, right? That house in my market is worth $20 million. So it's really, you're playing with the house's money. So it's okay to use a little bit of the house's money, give back to the house, give back to the community.
Awesome. And what would today's Ryan tell beginner Ryan that to do differently or to add to his business when he first got started? Looking back at your career.
Yeah. I tell him to move out of New York, go work for Brad Korb.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah, I would tell him to what someone told me years later, which really, really affected me, and I still think about it every day, because this business has so many ups and downs. It's a roller coaster. You're happy when you make a deal, you're upset when you lose one. It's tough to keep that momentum, right? But I would tell myself to breathe, take care of the work, and the work will take care of you. Do the work, stick to the program, stick to the schedule. Make sure every day when you're doing your job, you're focused on the career. Follow, finder, keeper, doer, and the work will take care of you and you will build an incredible career. If you overstress, if you overthink, if you're an action thinker instead of an action taker, the way a lot of us tend to be, right? You're not going to get anywhere and you're just going to end up being busy for a long time. And then it's going to be 2025 and 2030. I think the best piece of advice that I have for anyone listening to this now is if you want to be successful, draw a picture, write it down to the closest detail you can of who you are in 2030. Who is that person? Where are they? Are they on a beach? Do they have a huge team? Do they have their own company? Are they just selling great real estate every day? What are they doing? Who is that person? That is now your boss. So you are not an entrepreneur the way you think you are. You are now you're not working for yourself today. You're working for a guy or a lady 9 years from now. And that person is your boss. And your goal is to make that person's life great. Think about that person every day. And that'll motivate you a little bit extra because that person is going to be you before you know it. It was 2010, like yesterday. Like yesterday. It's crazy. It's crazy. So take care of future you.
Awesome. Amazing, Ryan. Thank you very much. I appreciate you being able to join us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I hope you've learned a lot that you can implement into your business. I got a few extra copies of the books because I love and support Ryan here. So if anyone wants to send me an email with their top tech takeaways and what they're going to implement into a business at brad@bradkorb.com, I will see. We've got a few books here. We'll see if we can get you out a book.
Do it.
Ryan, thank you very much. I look forward to doing this again with you someday when you're, doing your third book or at some other event.
Let's do it. Thank you so much, Brad. You are the best. Everybody in Brad's market, if you're listening, Brad is the best. Go to Brad.
Thank you, Ryan. Have an amazing day.
All right, you too. See you guys.
Bye-bye now.